Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the season finale of What If. This was called What If Supreme Strange Intervened. So, this episode starts right where the last one ended, with the two of them in the pub. He takes her to his palace. This is massive place. Um, she's walking in there talking and everything else. He's explaining what he's been doing lately, which has been what the Watcher should be doing, which is interfering with multiversal threats and removing them. So what we see is a bunch of these like tiny little orbs all in his little castle. And what's happening there is he has all of the universal threats or multiversal threats inside, and they're all very powerful beings. So, um, Carter was talking to him and was basically saying, "Let me guess, just one of them escaped." He goes, "That obvious?" She goes, "I've seen enough Jurassic Park and all other movies like it to know that if you capture a bunch of things too long, powerful things, at least one will be able to escape at some point." And he goes, "Well, you're absolutely right." So he doesn't really explain much about who she's supposed to be looking for, other than the fact that it's a woman, and that he knows that there'll be no way he'll be allowed to get close to her because she'll see him coming a mile away, but won't see Peggy coming. So he sends Peggy to a world where apparently there was no Captain Carter or Captain America, because apparently Red Skull dominated the entire world and became leader of the world. Apparently, Mount Rushmore now has his face on it. So that's where she is. So she's walking through the forest looking for this multiversal threat. What she sees is this blue blur flying by her and being smacked around. Well, it's Kahori from an episode earlier. So the two of them start fighting, and then they begin to start talking. And Kahori is explaining that, oh, let me guess, Strange sent you. And she's like, well, yeah, because you're the universal threat. She's like, yeah, that's what he said to me too. Until I figured out what he was doing. He wasn't capturing just multiversal threats. He was also capturing heroes too. Because I found out what exactly he was doing. Well, before she's able to say anything, a portal opens up and sends the two of them back into Strange's castle. So Carter is trying to explain to him like what's going on. As soon as she gets there, as soon as they all get there, I should say, Doctor Strange starts to encase Kahori into a bubble once again. Carter interferes. He then uses his magic to go around her and tries to do it again. That's when Carter comes up with a plan to release a lot of multiversal threats from their prisons and have him deal with that while she and Kahori try to escape. So while that's happening, Kahori grabs a hold of Carter and they start zooming around. While they're going through the castle, Kahori's explaining that apparently what Strange is wanting to do is to use a forge and put all of those captured creatures into the forge to rebuild his universe so that way he can have his Christine back. Carter realizes he must have lost it again and that this was going to be a huge problem. So she agrees with Kahori to try to fight him. Well, they continue to do this, try to go through all the motions and everything. We then see Thanos try to kill her. That's when he turns to dust, and we see Killmonger in his Infinity armor. Well, what happens is Kahori uses her Tesseract abilities to teleport him out of the armor, and the stones fall to the ground. That's when Carter takes them all and realizes that the two of them might be able to take on Supreme Strange now. So they get to the forge and is ready to destroy it. That's when Strange comes in, opens portals from above, and has all of the released multiversal threats to fall in. And there's this big fight that goes on between them all, the three of them, I should say, that not only are they fighting each other, but they're also trying to send the multiversal threats back to where they were from. And it becomes this huge fight back and forth until finally Kahori is able to do so. Send them all, at least away. I can't say for sure that they went back to where they belong. They then continue their fight. Strange turned into this massive, monstrous being, and they begin to fight. Carter, on the other hand, uses the abilities of not only herself, but the abilities of the multiversal threats that came through where they threw their weapons towards her. So she was given a bunch of different weapons to kind of help. The three of them continue their fight. She knocks the monsters out of him for a bit, enough to talk to him and try to reason with him. And he explains that he still plans on creating his universe. The monster takes over again and wants to kill Carter and Kahori and bring them down into the forge. While that's going on, Strange comes out of the monster and forces himself to control it, where he falls into the forge. Into the forge he goes, and what happens next is a massive explosion, which, when Carter wakes up, or kind of gets her vision back, Kahori's gone and the Watcher is beside her. And he's explaining that he had already bring Kahori back to her actual universe. And they were in this other universe, and Watcher was explaining that this is, and Carter saw this woman and realized that must be Christine, and he goes, yes, this is the universe that Strange created when he went into the Forge, which is his own, but without a Strange to ever exist in it, to mess it up. So apparently she was able to kind of, I don't want to say re-interact with, but reignite the human in Supreme Strange to get him to realize that this wasn't the right way to do things. And he, I guess you would say, won. So the Watcher finally explains to Carter that she, is she ready to go back to her universe? And she explains, yeah, but let's take the scenic route. I have some things I want to see. So he laughs and agrees with her, and he takes her to the big tree of life, which is where Loki is created from Loki season 2. So we know that there's going to be a season 3, and the fact that we now see that Loki has made himself known in the multiverse, we might see more of what's going to happen with our friend Loki. But we'll have to wait and see for season 3. Overall, I did think this episode was cool. We got to see some callbacks to characters we haven't seen in a while. We got to see Peter Quill, the child. We got to see Killmonger in his Infinity armor. We got to see Thanos. We got to see it all, including we get to see zombie Wanda Maximoff, which I thought was kind of cool as well. So seeing all that together was kind of interesting in general, and also seeing Supreme Strange be evil once again. Mostly because all the monsters inside of him, it's not that shocking that he would become evil or corrupted once again. So, with all that being done, he was able to figure out what needed to be done, which was sacrifice himself to create his own universe again. But overall, thought it was a great episode. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.